Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Little Purple Potting Shed Diaries. And I know it's been a long time since I've sat in here and had a nice little chat with you all, but as always it's been crazy hectic yet again. We just arrived back from selling at the RHS Malvern Spring Show, which was 4 days long, but obviously we had to get there a day early to set up and everything. But it was an amazing show. It was one of the best shows we've done so far, which of course wouldn't have been if it wasn't for all of you lovely people that came and bought stuff from our stand and just popped by to say hello. We really appreciate it when you do pop by to say hello. And I met so many lovely people, and I've written all the names down in the back of our stock book, which I forgot to bring with me, but I know that the lovely Steve and his partner popped by. It's always nice to see them and have a little chat. He teaches a gardening club, and if you can remember, I did show a drawing that they drew for me of my allotment, and I keep meaning to hang it in my shed, and I will do it, but things are just a bit crazy right now. And also, if I can find it in my bag of goodies, Yvonne popped by the stall with this photograph for me, which she took through her living room window, I think, of a robin in the snow, because she knew that I loved robins. So thank you. But thank you to everyone who did pop by. It's always lovely to see people and to put faces to names, and of course chat all things gardening. But I've just been feeling a bit stressed lately, and all these cold sores have come up. One came up last week just before the show, and then the day after another one came up, and then during the show I started to get another cold sore, and now I've just noticed that there's another cold sore coming, so that's 4 in a week, which just shows how run down and just completely stressed I am. I usually do get cold sores, like I am prone to cold sores, but I would really appreciate it if anyone has any tips or hints on natural remedies to make for cold sores, because, well, as you can see, they're not very nice. And one of them really hurt when it first came up. Like, my whole mouth was throbbing. So yeah, if anyone has any tips on how to make some natural remedies. I know lemon balm is supposed to be really good for cold sores, but if any of you do have any recipes and things for me to make, like an ointment for my lips, then that'd be really much appreciated, because I think the stress is going to continue for another few weeks yet, because this was our first show of 5 in a row. So we're going to be at Highlands Castle next, down in Chelmsford, and then the weekend after we will be at Detling in Kent, and then we're having one in our local hometown in Southampton, and then it's at Stansted Park, and then I think we've got a weekend off until the rest of the shows start. But all the events can be found over on the blog if you did want to have a look, because like I said, it is really nice to see some of you at the shows. But yeah, right now it's trying to get time to pop up the allotment to do small jobs, and for me that's popping up in the evenings, which just so happened to be my favourite time of the day, and especially where it's been so hot. Like, it would be impossible to work up the garden and up the allotment in, you know, at midday when the sun is at its highest. It would just be too hot. So coming up in the evenings is just perfect. You know, we've been busy getting orders out from the website during the day, and of course my dad's been busy making more metalwork for the shows. So on the evenings we try to have a little bit of time off, although my dad is currently at home now making some more poppy seed heads, but of course I can't weld, so I can't really help him. I feel really guilty, but yeah, I've come up the allotment for a couple of hours. I've got some sunflowers that I want to plant out. These are just 2 of the ones I bought up. there's a whole tray of them down there because I want to grow so many sunflowers this year. And these were actually saved seed from my Mongolian giant sunflowers last year. I'm not sure if you remember, but one of them, well, they were all pretty good, but one of them grew to like well over 10 foot. It was the biggest sunflower I've ever grown. I was so happy with it. So I saved the seed from that giant sunflower to use this year. And they've all germinated, which is great. So I've had them in the cold frame for a couple of weeks now, and they're ready to go out into the big wide world now on plot 15C. So I'm going to do what I usually do and plant some up along the back of the pond, some up along the back of the rhubarb bed, and I'm also going to put some in the flower border at the back as well, if I've got enough. There's a whole tray there. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's 15, 17, 17 sunflowers, so I should have enough. But yeah, that's one of the main jobs to do this evening. And there's also a few weeding jobs, like I desperately need to finish weeding the fruit cage around the raspberries, which is the most difficult part to weed now because obviously they're starting to grow. And the edge of the brassica bed just needs a quick weed. That I wanted to pop on here and do a quick vlog and just have a little general chat while I've got the time, basically. But one of the things I did buy at the Malvern, like I try not to walk around the garden shows now because I know that I'm just going to buy things, and I know that 9 times out of 10 I will come home with a new plant or a new flower for the allotment, and I'm really running out of room. So I tell myself now, try not to buy any plants. So this time I bought some bunting. So it's like a patchwork bunting with florals and stripes, and it was only £5. We bought some Union Jack ones to hang on our stall ages ago. And every time I go to a garden show now, I try and look for the same stand because these were only £5 each, which is really, really cheap. And I was going to make my own like waterproof ones, but obviously I don't have the time now. And also £5, you can't say no to that. And I'm going to hang them in the corner of my flower patch, because I think it will look really nice, especially when all the flowers are grown, to have some bunting. And there's always room for bunting. Like I even have bunting in the shed. You've got to have bunting. So that's what I bought at this show, which is really good for me. I did actually buy a fleece as well, but that's because it was really, really cold. So I treated myself to a £20 fleece as well. So no plants were bought from that show, but what I was very tempted by because hopefully in the near future I'll be moving away, which means I will need to get my own greenhouse because, well, I think every gardener needs a greenhouse by law. They're very much a necessity, and obviously I use my dad's now in the back garden at home. So yeah, in the near future I will be moving away, hopefully. But obviously I need my own greenhouse, so I was looking around at the greenhouses at the show, and one stood out in particular because it was so different. Like, it was very sleek and very modern, and the name, oh, where are we? It's called Cultivar. I'm not sure if you can see on these photos, but there was just something about them. They looked so modern. Like, it didn't look like a greenhouse, it looked like a summer house, if that makes sense. But all there's only, you know, one sheet of panes on each one. You know, it's not layered like a, you know, like your old traditional greenhouse. And there were vents in the top and vents down the bottom. But yeah, I was looking around at greenhouses. Not that I'll be getting one, you know, anytime soon, but I love greenhouses. I love sheds. I love any sort of garden building. But what else? Let's have a look in my goodie bag. Every year we go to Malvern now. They do like a goodie bag. You buy with the Telegraph, and it has RHS Malvern Spring Festival 2018. And so I've sort of started collecting them. Anyway, let's get on to the book review for this vlog. Now, it was my birthday on the 28th of April, and I am a complete and utter bookworm, so I had a couple of books on my birthday list, and one of them was called The Garden Farmer by Francine Raymond, and I actually saw this in a bookshop when I was in Wales, and I had a quick flick through it. It just looked amazing, and of course it's called The Garden Farmer. It's like best of both worlds. It's like me here on the allotment and me in Wales. It says make your garden bountiful all year round. I mean, I haven't had much time to read it, but I do love a book with good pictures in, and this has got a lot of really nice pictures in. And what it is it's broken down into the months, and at the start of every month there is a photograph of the same view of her garden. So I think it's a really good idea, because if you take a photograph of the same view of your plot every month, you can see the changes in it. I mean, if you did it every week, you could probably see the changes in it. But I mean, I tried to take a photograph from like the angle of my flower border and the far angle in my vegetable bed. I do that quite often, but it is nice to look back at, because you do see the changes really clearly. But yeah, she keeps chickens, there's recipes in here, there's ducks, fruit and veg and flowers. But like I said, I haven't, oh my god, I just saw pigs. And really cute looking pigs. So yeah, like I said, I haven't had much time to read it, but hopefully over the next couple of months now when we go to the shows, I always take a book with me to read in the evenings. So this is going to come with me, and I'm going to have a good read of it. But I think just the title and the photographs alone are perfect. So The Garden Farmer by Francine Raymond. I did bring my list of things to do up, but try not to look at it too much. I have been using my garden diary as well a lot, and it's been really, really helpful this year. Really, really helpful. And my potatoes came up, so I earthed them up. I actually need to earth them up again now. So I'll use my dad's Chillington hoe to do that, because it just makes such easy and light work of earthing up your potatoes. Let's see what I need to do in May. Ah, yes. I need to sow grass seed, but I've had a problem with creeping buttercup this year. Like, it's the first time that I've ever had my plot that creeping buttercup has been a problem. And I know it likes moist weather, so this winter has been wet and miserable and horrible, which is why it's probably thrived this year. And also because my brassica bed last year was covered in weeds, and it was, it wasn't tended to at all, and the creeping buttercup has crept into my grass path. So what I am actually going to do is probably chop that path back and get rid of the creeping buttercup, and then sow some grass seed along there. And it's not going to look very nice, but as the name suggests, the old buttercup does creep, and it creeps quite quickly. So I need to sow some grass seed, make manure bin, paint side of the shed. I probably won't have time to do them this year. This month. Hopefully I'll do them this year. Oh, there's a little moth. Where did he go? Anyway, yeah, make manure bin. I probably won't have time to do that this month. And paint side of shed. It's one of those jobs that I'm always meant to do before the rose bush grows. And I didn't prune it that hard, so it's grown quite crazy again. And of course I can't paint the side of my shed now. I've painted all the other sides twice now. That side's only had it once, so it's looking a bit faded, and I don't want my shed to rot, so maybe I need to push the rose bush back and pop it back so I can paint it, just to save my shed. And weed fruit cage. So I'm going to definitely try and weed the fruit cage. I'm going to plant the sunflowers out, weed the fruit cage, and weed the bit of the brassica bed. And earth up the potatoes. And I've got a couple of hours now to do that, and the sun's still shining. But all the apple blossom is gone from the tree, which I'm really sad about. Like, I know apple blossom doesn't last that long, obviously, but it looks so beautiful. And this year with my apple tree, I'm going to thin the fruit out like I usually do. This is its 3rd year, so I'm going to leave some fruit on there to ripen. I'm really excited to taste my first ever homegrown apple, but I'm not going to laden the tree down with loads of apples because it's still quite young. But yeah, so excited. There's still a few tidying up jobs to do. This area over here now has turned into my sort of rubbish pile. But this time I have been weeding and putting the weeds into old sheep feed bags. So they're all in bags, but they just need to go to the tip. But yeah, it's just trying to find sneaky hours to get up here. But I love this time of year. And everything's starting to come to life now. The sun's shining. Work is good. It's busy, but it's good. So I've got nothing to really complain about. Just a face full of cold sores, which isn't nothing to worry about really. But yeah, I'm not sure what else there is to chat about. I was going to have a chamomile tea, but I didn't bring any honey up with me. Oh, but I've got sugar. Sugar will do. Sugar will do. But yeah, I'm going to get on with a couple of jobs. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching, and I'll hopefully see you soon in another vlog.